Hey, it's Jamila Freelane, founder of Encouraging Words College Prep. And I want to first off say thank you to all of you who left the kind remarks, and a lot of people had great questions that they called with. So I appreciate the overwhelming response to the videos that I did on college transfer. And in relation to those transfer videos, I wanted to touch on some other topics in relation to college transfer as well. And I'm going to hit you first off with a did you know? Now, did you actually know there were different types of degrees? And for some of you, you may say, well, yeah, of course I knew that. There's bachelor's degrees, there's master's degrees, blah, blah, blah. Well, that's actually true. Of course, there's a associate's degree, there's a bachelor's degree, there's a master's degree, and there's a doctoral degree. And honestly, going into college, I had a working knowledge of at least that much, but it wasn't really until I started actually in college and then even started working in higher education that I understood that there were different designations and categories even within the associate's category or the bachelor's category, so on and so forth. So I want to break down at least three of the most popular associate degree programs so that you understand some of those distinctions and how each of those could be used. One of the first associate degrees that I want to touch on is the Associate of Arts, which is known as the AA. The Associate of Arts is a great transfer degree because it loads you up with a lot of general education classes. To me, out of the three that I'm going to discuss for today, it's probably the easiest to transfer over. There's also an Associate of Arts, or I'm sorry, not Associate of Arts, Associate of Science degree. And that particular associate's degree is going to be obviously weighted a little heavier with sciences and then some math courses and that sort of thing, much more so than the AA, the Associate of Arts. The Associate of Science is going to be, in my opinion, most beneficial when you are looking at continuing on into a STEM related area. Say you're going to a traditional 4-year college or university for maybe an area like engineering. Now, the third area that I want to talk about, and the one where I see most people get stymied or stumped, so to speak, is the AAS degree. AAS is where it's at as far as I'm concerned. I love a lot of the programs that are categorized as AAS. AAS degrees are the Associate of Applied Sciences. Now, the Associate of Applied Science programs are viewed, at least when they were initially kind of launched, I guess, as terminal degrees. And terminal degrees meaning that you were expected to get your 2-year degree in that particular field, and then you were going to work in that industry. Some examples of AAS degree categories would be things like more technical areas, things like, let's say, someone who wants to go into accounting, or someone who wants to go into welding or electrical systems technology, maybe IT, areas like that. Well, as we know, the game has changed indeed. And as we're getting more and more into people continuing on their education, and as the job market becomes more competitive, a lot of people who have AAS degrees or are at least thinking about getting enrolled in AAS degree programs don't necessarily realize that for a lot of traditional colleges and universities that are regionally accredited, they don't accept a lot of the credits, or the majority, or I shouldn't say the majority, but they don't accept a lot of the credits from AAS degrees in the way that they do for an AA and an AS degree. So have I kind of confused you with the alphabet soup for today? So an AA is going to be an Associate of Arts, an AS is going to be an Associate of Science, and an AAS is going to be an Associate of Applied Sciences. Each one has their own merits and their own benefits, but just know that with an AAS degree, to always be mindful that with that one, of the three associate degrees that we mentioned, that's the one that's least likely to have credits transferred on. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't consider that, and by no means is this a blanket statement that no regional college or university is going to accept credits from your AAS degree. But just understand that sometimes those technical classes may not transfer into a regional university. For example, I'm in the southeast region of the U.S., and the dominant regional accrediting body for this area is SACS, and many of the SACS accredited schools in my area don't necessarily accept the credits in from an AAS degree the way they do for an AA or an AS. The other thing to be mindful of too, though, is that with an AAS degree, because some of those fields are in such demand, you can actually go work in the field, and oftentimes with an AAS degree, quite frankly, you can make as much money or maybe even more money than you would with a traditional 4-year degree. So, food for thought, something to think about. I thank you for tuning in and hope this gives you some insight on the different options available with an associate's degree. That's my time for the day. That's my tip for today. Thanks for watching, and I want you to remember to reach for the sky. Have a great day.